Hello, I'm Robert from Mobile Burn, and I think you all know what's coming up. Let's start off by taking a look at the design and build quality of both of these oversized phones. Straight away you can see the difference in terms of dimensions, with the Sony having a much wider and taller appearance compared to the quite stocky looking Galaxy Note 3. Sony also wins the battle when it comes to thinness, with its very lean 6.5mm compared to the 8.3mm of the Samsung. All this thinness has a major downside though, as the top and bottom bezels of the Sony had to be made quite large to house all the components. I much prefer the look of the Note 3 with its beefier looks but smaller bezels, making it much easier to hold, as I think we've reached a threshold in terms of thinness of devices, as it actually has a negative effect on the overall comfort. In terms of build quality, Sony has done a really nice job with a glass front and back, along with a metal trim to hold everything in place, making it feel very premium. The Note 3 on the other hand features a new faux leather textured rear cover in an attempt to get away from the slippery materials normally used by Samsung on their devices. The metal looking plastic frame holds the leather textured back along with the plastic front together. The Sony quite easily steals the show here in terms of build quality, but personally I prefer the texture and feel of the Note 3 as it isn't quite as slippery in your hand. Looking at the cameras of both devices is almost the exact opposite as it is with the build quality. The Note 3 has the far superior camera in terms of software resolution and quality. The 13 megapixel sensor taken from the S4 is now capable of shooting 4K video. That's 8 megapixel of video, which is coincidentally the same amount as the entire resolution of Sony's camera. It also features digital video stabilization in Full HD mode, along with the ability to record fast and slow motion video at 60, 90 and 120 frames a second, along the standard 30. The stills from the Samsung are also much better compared to the Sony, with better sharpness and much less noise at higher ISOs. At first I thought that Sony missed the boat by including such a crappy camera, but then I realised that they've probably decided to focus on other aspects of the phablet, as I personally can't see too many people wanting to take pictures with this device due to its size. This is the only logical explanation I could come up with, other than they ran out of space due to its thinness, as there's not even an LED flash. One area where both devices are very similar is their battery capacity. The Note 3 features a 3200 mAh battery compared to the 3050 mAh of the Sony. Both will get you through the day comfortably even under heavy usage, with about 4 to 5 hours of screen on time. The Note 3 has to take the crown here, not only due to its larger capacity in a smaller form factor, but also due to it being a removable battery, which is a major plus for me personally, as I don't have to lug around an external power brick or charger. Let's now focus our attention on the displays of both devices. They feature the exact same Full HD resolution as you'd expect nowadays from high-end phones, but with different technologies underneath the skin. The Note 3 has a 5.7-inch display with Samsung's usual AMOLED technology, but now featuring the highest brightness level of any mobile device out there at 600 nits. Viewing angles along with colour saturation and reproduction are all very good, making it a joy to use on a daily basis. It is a slightly different matter with Sony's 6.44-incher. It has been fitted with their triluminous display technology, along with the X-Reality engine, in an attempt to make colours pop along with improved viewing angles. It's definitely an improvement if you compare it to the previous generation of devices such as the Sony Xperia Z, but it's still no match to the Galaxy Note 3. One thing I really enjoy about Sony's display is the ability to use any pencil you might have lying around to draw directly on the screen. The Note 3 on the other hand only works with the new and improved stylus with a pressure sensitive Wacom digitizer. The Sony is also my preferred choice when it comes to playing games or watching movies, as I find a little bit of extra screen real estate does make a difference, especially when reading. Performance wise, they both pretty much stack up well against each other with almost identical specs, both supporting the latest Snapdragon 800 CPU coupled with an Adreno 330 GPU. The only difference between the two powerhouses is the Note's 3GB of RAM compared to the Sony's 2. Both of these devices are very fluid when it comes to browsing through their respective UIs without any lag or hiccups. When it comes to the software on both devices, it's a matter of opinion. The Galaxy Note 3 comes, as expected, preloaded with the latest version of TouchWiz, which is based on Android 4.3. Samsung have really emphasised the software over the last couple of years in an attempt to gain customers with features such as air and motion gestures. I am personally not a fan and only found myself using the new air commands to go along with the stylus. Sony on the other hand have done really well in this department in their attempt to minimise bloatware and keep the UI as close to stock Android 4.2.2 as possible. So this comparison might have come across as a very one-sided one, but I can tell you now that neither device will be disappointing. They each have their pros, like Samsung's USB 3 charging port or Sony's IP certification to make the devices water and dust proof, along with their cons, like Samsung's poor build quality or Sony's display. I found that the Note 3 easily can be used as your main device to make phone calls, along with the ability to have the stylus support, normally only featured on larger devices. The Sony, on the other hand, is a tad too big to look normal during phone calls, even if you have larger hands like me, but I always found myself using the Sony when I wanted to watch YouTube videos or just play games. The only area where I can quite comfortably say that the Note 3 beats the Sony is the display, but you'll only notice its weakness after you've used the Note for a while, as otherwise it's no worse than the current displays on the market. So I hope you've enjoyed this comparison between a Sony Xperia Z Ultra and a Samsung Galaxy Note 3. If you have, don't forget to subscribe as well as like the video, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one.